Hello and welcome. My name is Eli, and in today's video, I'm going to show you my latest completed camper build that I just finished for a client on his 2025 GMC Yukon XL. The client has requested a custom Stealthy camper setup for one, and this particular setup is going to feature some really unique and interesting features that I've never done on any of my camper builds before. So without further ado, let me show you the camper build. All right, folks, here we go. This is a brand new 2025 GMC Yukon XL. This one is the AT4 off-road model, and it has the 3-liter Duramax engine. The power rating is 305 horsepower and 495 foot-pounds of torque. The best part about this rig is that it gets over 30 miles per gallon on the highway. At least that's what I saw on the trip computer. My client did drive this thing all the way from the East Coast to get a camper build done, and his trip computer indicated that it was getting over 30 miles per gallon on the highway. So that's pretty impressive for a full-size SUV like this one. This particular Yukon XL has all the bells and whistles. I'm not going to spend too much time naming everything that it comes with. I'm sure you can Google it and find out for yourselves, but it is fully loaded. So let me show you what was done to it on the outside. We do have a roof basket that I installed for my client. He needed a very large roof basket. It almost measures over 80 inches long and about 50 inches wide. And the reason why he wanted it that big is because he wanted to install 4 Jackery solar panels. Each one of these solar panels is 100 watts. So we have 400 watts of solar on the roof. Let me go ahead and show you the rest of this rig. Super nice, super clean, brand new, as you can see. Another thing that was done on the roof is that there is a Yakima solar shower. So it is secured on the side of the roof basket. And this is actually the very first time I've installed a solar shower on any of my camper builds. So that's pretty much what this rig looks like on the outside. Let me go ahead and open it up and show you what was done to it on the inside. All right, let's go ahead and check it out on the inside. We're gonna open the passenger side door. You can see the electric running board. So here we go. This is a super stealthy camper setup that the client requested, and the very first thing that stands out to you is the color of the build. The client did want to match the interior of his Yukon XL, so we went with a super dark, almost black stain. So the color was Ebony, and I think it turned out pretty good actually. I've never ever used a super dark stain like this one, and I'm actually pleased with the result. I may end up reusing this color on a future build. The client did request to keep the second row captain chairs, so you could see they're still in place. So we had to design the build to make sure that we are still able to use the captain seats up here in the second row. The third row has been removed to make room for this build, as you could see. This is a removable build, so should you want to reinstall the third row seat, you're able to do so by removing pretty much everything that you see back here. So this setup is for one person, and currently I'm using my single 25 by 75 inch folding mattress, 4-inch thick foam. The client will be using a much wider mattress. His mattress is going to measure 36 inches wide, and I believe it's going to be about 7 inches thick. So you could see we have extra space for him on this bed to be able to fit his mattress in. This is something new that I've never done before. This is an adjustable bed frame. So right now you're seeing it in the flat position, but it does come with a remote control. You can go ahead and adjust the positioning of this bed. So you could have the back support be raised, but also you can have the legs also be raised. So this is something that I've never done before, and it's actually kind of cool to have that in here. You know, if you want to just hang out in a comfortable position, not lay flat, or, you know, maybe in a yoga position, if you want to sit up straight, you can have one of these with a remote control conveniently installed in your Yukon XL to lounge in here. So back to the second row seating. In order to actually be able to use the second row seating, you would have to remove the bed frame. You'd have to slide it out through the back and be able to use the second row seating. Let me show you what's in front of the second row seating. We have a very big Jackery power station. I think this is like the Jackery 5000. Yeah, it's the Jackery Explorer 5000 Plus. I think it's the biggest unit they sell. And this is what the 400 watts of solar on the roof are charging currently. So if we go ahead and turn it on, we could see we're getting about 105 watts of solar right now because it's a kind of a cloudy day, and it's about 84%. Plenty of outlets, USB, AC outlet, 12 volt. We have removable reflectix on all the windows for full privacy. This is a very stealthy setup, but also in addition to the black reflectix on the outside, we have dark tint from the factory. So you can't really tell that this is a camper from the outside, at least. And then we have this removable curtain that separates the driving area from the lounging and sleeping area. All right, so this is what it looks like from the other side, from the driver's side. You could see the 12 volt Bouge RV 30 quart fridge is sitting very snugly in front of the second row captain seat. This is your EcoFlow air conditioning unit, your Jackery, and then what I'd like to do is go ahead and enter the build, close the doors, and show you how stealthy this setup is. All right, folks, I'm inside the camper build, and you could see how private it is. The windows are completely blocked off. The curtain is blocking the view from the front. There is still some light trickling through the curtain, but it's still super private, as you could see. So let me show you the features of this build that the client requested. Over on this side, we have a shelving unit. We have a 2-level shelf unit for storage. So this is the top level, and then we have the bottom level right in here. Just go ahead and shine the light on it. There you go. So here's the storage that you get on this side, and over on this side we have a counter setup with lots and lots of storage. As you could see, this is the very first time I've actually made a counter on this side of the build. The client wanted to focus on stealth, so the counter had to be exclusively indoor use only. Usually I do a counter in the back to allow for indoor-outdoor use. And you could see this one is actually located all the way in the back on the side of the vehicle where the third row seating usually is. You could see pretty deep counter space for potentially a microwave to sit on top of here. And here we have a sink, also only indoor sink. And this is an automated sink, so it does have a 12 volt water pump that's connected to the Jackery. I'll turn the sink on in just a moment, but here you could see the finish of this counter. Multiple coats of polyurethane have been applied to give it that really nice glossy shiny look. Also make it super water resistant, because we do have a sink compartment right here. This is a adjustable collapsible faucet, stainless steel round sink. It's also been sealed off so water doesn't trickle through and also potentially warp this wood. Everything is nice and sealed. The finish on this counter turned out to be awesome. Other features of this counter is that we have storage compartments. So we have a little shelf up here, but also a deep storage bin down here. another storage area down below this drawer, and this is a drawer on soft closing slide, so very nice touch to that. Let me go ahead and show you the sink compartment. So this setup is pretty much an open setup in the front, and the reason why is because we want to be able to get those containers out to dump the gray water and be able to fill up the fresh water. So this is left open to be able to have them slide out through that door, do the dumping, do the filling, slide them back in, screw the caps on, and be able to use the sink. Sorry that was loud, but this is basically how it works, and you can hear the water being dispensed inside the containers. So that's pretty much what it looks like in here. So what I'd like to do now is just go ahead and open the rear liftgate and show you what the view looks like from back there. All right, let's go ahead and open up the power liftgate just to show you the view from the back. This is a better look at the shelf that's up here, a little tiny one. Again, we had to work with the interior of this vehicle to maximize storage space. Storage back here. Also the shelving unit on the side, as you could see. This was left intentionally open to be able to use the factory AC outlet, and then also these are the buttons to raise the seats, the third row and the second row. We don't have the third row anymore, but everything was left open just in case. One thing to mention is that the client did request a wide bed setup, but it got me thinking that this setup would actually work if the bed was narrower. So if we had only like 25 inches of sleeping space, this is a total of 36 inches. So it would give us about 11-inch floor to be able to use the mattress as a bench configuration and better be able to use the counter on this side. It may be something I might end up doing on future builds because, you know, this build turned out so great. I kind of got inspired to replicate this and do some modifications that I think would work really well to be able to use this primarily as a stealth camper. The last thing I want to show you is if I raise the bed frame. Again, this is the automatic reclining bed frame. I do have some access to some storage underneath the bed that I can choose to use, but this is only accessible obviously from the outside, so it's kind of like a little hidden storage compartment. So that concludes today's video tour on this really cool 2025 GMC Yukon XL that has a custom level 2 stealth camper build in it. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.